Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be playing around with some ink. Check out all these inks that I found hidden away in a box from when I was in art school. So I'm playing with some Higgins waterproof brown ink. Give it a little shake. And now I'm thinking what am I going to draw? I know, I'll scroll my phone. Let's look at some photos I've taken a while ago. You know what? I haven't painted this one before. This one's kind of cool. There's a lot of detail, action. Yeah, let's do this one. So, thinking about sketching out this photo on my paper, and you know what? It's just not right. So, let's just get rid of it. I like to use a kneaded eraser. It really picks up the graphite well, but doesn't really disturb the fibers of the paper. So, time to resketch it out. Yeah, I didn't do it right again. So, it never hurts to redraw it as many times as needed to get everything right. Because if you don't get the foundation of your piece, so like the drawing part, correct, then when you work on painting it, no matter how well you paint it, it's still going to look off. So I like to break things down into big, blobby shapes and refine those shapes as I draw. So you can see I did these big, blobby shapes for the horse, and now I'm coming in with a little bit of a heavier hand to fine-tune those details in pencil. That way, once I start putting ink to the paper, I know it's already correct. And once you go in with ink, there's really not a way to cover it up unless you have opaque paint. And my plan was not to use opaque paint in this spread of my sketchbook. You know what? These legs aren't just doing anything for me. They're wrong. So once again, I needed an eraser, and I am resketching them out. You know, it's better to erase it multiple times than to try to make it look decent even though the proportions are wrong. And when you are having problems making a straight line, grab a straight edge, a ruler, something. You know, it's going to help you so much in the long run, especially when there's a rope being pulled tight. It needs to be straight. So this photo I took many years ago at a ranch roping competition. And I've always wanted to draw from this photo, but I've never found the right time. And the time was this day I was working in my sketchbook. So give my little ink a swirl, open her up, and I found a dip nib pen, I think that's what you call it, along with a box of all the inks I found. So I'm just going to use this guy. There's still some ink dried up on there, not a big deal. So I have to do really slow and deliberate little strokes with this, or else it splutters everywhere and makes a mess. And I have to keep dipping this nib into the ink because, you know, it runs out. It's not like a pen where there's a reservoir with ink in it. But so this ink is waterproof. I would love for you to leave a comment below what you think I'll do next with this. So this is just part one of this little illustration. I want you to let me know what you think I'll be doing after inking my pencil drawing. So, horses. I love horses. I was always a horse crazy little girl, and my daughter loves horses now too. She calls them Naz, Naz. She's almost 4, so still working on words. But I've always loved horses. I've worked with horses. I used to own a horse. I don't anymore, so I keep my love of horses alive by drawing and painting them. So this one, I think this horse's name was Big John. He was giant, but beautiful. And so The purpose of a ranch roping competition is different from the rodeos. They want to work the cattle very slow and carefully. No loping or cantering allowed. A lope or canter is a 3-beat gait, which is above the trot. The trot is a 2-beat gait, and a walk is a 4-beat gait, as I recall. I might be wrong. It's been a couple years. But they're not allowed to do that in the corral when they're working the cattle. So they want to do it nice and slow and carefully. And so it's important to be able to rope cattle in order to doctor them. So if they get hurt, if they need a shot and they are not near a corral of any sort, they need to be able to rope a calf or an adult cow and to handle it in order to keep it healthy. So that's one of the things I've learned going to a couple of different ranch ropings. And so I like to take pictures where I go, and then when I come home, I can draw and paint from them. So here is time to work the rope, working the rope. It was actually more fun than you think. Imperfect lines can be really fun to play with. So thank you so much for watching my little video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy it, please give it a like. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. And up next will be what I do next with this little drawing and ink sketch in my sketchbook.